It's Nolan. Now, before we get started, make sure y'all hitting that like button. Make sure y'all sharing it on your respective platforms. Let somebody know what we're doing today. Now, let's get into the show. In the image of God, able to smite them, embracing my light. I can't leave this game without putting up a fight. These niggas clones, they digging they in the zip file. Shit was way better when Hov poured out the crystal. Nick put the pins down, maybe I should find you a pen pal. 20-year legends with classes, they dropping mid now. I guess the mission accomplished. We were sent to demolish the infinite knowledge. We living in privates, we shipping the product for free, still looking for profit. Somebody tell me how long before this shit get abolished. I sat back and reassessed it. If we ain't got the GPS, then who giving directions? Moving out of order, we paid dues to collections. Chasing at the checks, but still skipping the checklist. Screaming gang gang, but bitching up for the detectives. Brody plain Jane, decapitated your necklace. I done got some placements that never paid with detections. Nothing finna change, so why we talking elections? I'm on their ass. You a killer, then why you been taking photographs? All the line, this shit is making my modem crash. Niggas crying to me, but ain't putting up the cash. Suffering succotash. Don't make me stuff your ass, boy. I had the battle before they said I'm legit. Gigs out of state, I couldn't afford the trip. $100 tape, I started studying nip. Nigga, this a marathon, you better gas up the whip, fucker. What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. Hope everybody's doing well out there today. In this particular video, we're going to be getting into Will.I.Am. All right. He has a new interview out with Sway in the Morning. And within that interview, they end up getting onto the subject of Black Thought. Black Thought is an absolute legend as a solo artist and as part of the legendary Roots crew. One of the most untouchable MCs on the motherfucking planet. Let's just go ahead and start there. Okay. So they're talking about Black Thought, and Will.I.Am then goes off on a tangent saying that Black Thought as a rapper is 1,000,000,000,000 times better than Jay-Z. This clip has been making its rounds online. He goes into his reasoning as to why he believes that Black Thought is a better MC than Jay-Z. I'm going to go ahead and pull it up, and then I will go ahead and give my response to what Will.I.Am is saying in the interview in just a moment. But first, let's just go ahead and play the clip in case you guys haven't already seen it. Okay?
Black Thought is 1,000,000,000,000 times better than Jay-Z.
1,000,000,000,000?
Trillion.
What's your logic behind that?
Seeing Black Thought, what he's capable of just off the top. And yeah, Jay's off the top is dope too. Jay's dope, don't get me wrong.
No.
But Jay's already said everything that he's just regurgitating everything he's already said, including other rappers. When everything that Black Thought comes up with is like, wait, I never heard that one. Wow, you split that word up like that? And that's just my that's just me.
Yeah.
Now, there's a lot of people that be like, what the fuck you know about hip-hop, Will.I.Am? I don't give a fuck what you think. I just know what I think and what I in my head, top 5 MCs. It's always Biggie, Tupac, Nas, Jay. I'm like, KRS, Rakim, Big Daddy Kane, Nas, Black Thought.
That's a nice
Top
five.
five.
Yeah, that's a nice 5.
Fairmont.
Yeah.
There's another one like,
Yeah.
what is that cadence? Like unheard of.
Yeah.
And yes, Jay-Z's awesome. I'm not taking away from his brilliance. I just don't think he's better than Black Thought. I'd like to see a battle. I like to see them niggas battle. And if they don't want to battle in person, someone is going to get an AI simulator that takes all their body of work and all their concerts and flows, and you'll see exactly who's doper. And somebody's going to make it.
I like how he put his glasses
Somebody
on.
might be him.
All right. So that is Will.I.Am with his opinion of Black Thought being 1,000,000,000,000 times better than Jay-Z. And at the end of his speech, he goes on to mention how somebody is going to come up with some sort of AI that's going to take all of the bodies of work of Black Thought, freestyles, songs, performances, etc., and puts them against Jay-Z's same, catalog, performances, freestyles, and music, right? Which I want to start there. Fuck your AI, all right? Nobody wants to see that fucking battle. Well, let me not say nobody, right? Because I think there are some people out there that are intrigued by that type of stuff for their own personal reasons. I'm not going to go in to try to dissect that part of it, right? But fuck your AI. You know what I mean? Let's just go ahead and start at that point, because I don't see a world we're living in which Jay-Z or Black Thought would consent to Will.I.Am utilizing their material and what it is that they've brought to the game of music, to the world of music, to the world in general with their lyrical contributions. I don't think they would go for that. So number one, fuck your AI. I know you're a tech guy. I know that that's something that intrigues you, and you know you're flying off the handle, sort of like Timbaland, sort of like how some people was talking about Lupe, right? Y'all like to push the boundaries, but there need to be some boundaries. Okay, let's just start there. Now, as it pertains to Jay-Z and Black Thought, y'all know Jay-Z for me is my living GOAT. I say it all the time. Tupac is the greatest. Jay-Z is my living GOAT. After him, that's who I rock with, right? I grew up as a big Nas fan first over Jay-Z, but over time, and I would say even like 2012 to 2017 up until and even like guest verses that came after that, the way his style transformed and continued to evolve, and the entendres he puts into his shit, like I look at Jay a lot differently, right? So for me, I don't take it personal, number one, that Will.I.Am says Black Thought is better than Jay-Z, right? And I feel like this actually takes me back to about a week ago. Now, for those of y'all that have been tuned in, y'all know I did back-to-back days. We did the seven levels of a rapper reaction, which put MCs on a 7 tier, 1 being the lowest, 7 being the highest, right? I even caught some flack for expressing my view of Tupac's lyrical stylings, right? And people say Tupac is definitely a level 7 rapper. Now, Tupac, to me, is above ranking. But if I were to look at his body of work off raps alone, if I take other things out of his personality and his magnetism, his charisma, his love for his people, if I were to just take the raps and put them against other artists, I don't think I would say he has the most wow me verses in hip hop. He may have the best or the greatest verses in hip hop. He may have the greatest content in hip hop, right? And that's how I view Tupac through a spectrum of all of the branches on his tree are more massive than everybody else. You know what I'm saying? In terms of what he talked about, the content, the substance, the what made him who he was, the Black Panther lore, how he was raised, the fact that at 19 years old, he was in front of the new Black Panther movement and started calling them motherfuckers out in their face, and they took it and had to cheer his ass on, right? Which made his music even more valuable, right? Which made when he shot the police in defending a complete stranger on the street, that contributed to what it was that he was saying in his music, because it's like he's really living what he's talking about, not on a gangster level, but on a human level of, damn, he's really fighting for people. So I look at it from the spectrum of best versus greatest, right? So let's go ahead and take Tupac off the table, right? Because I'll just use him as an example. I'm not trying to rehash that conversation. But then the very next day, we talked about Joe Budden coming out and saying to him, Foxy Brown is the best female rapper of all time. From there, I gave y'all my list of who I thought, were the best female rappers, right? Not the greatest, but the best. So that was with bodies of work, technical skill, who could go in the booth and just give you the best verse, the most captivating verse. Like all of those things, I think, tend to get lumped into the same conversations when they don't have to. They shouldn't, more specifically. So now, bringing it back to Black Thought Jay-Z. Black Thought, to me, is one of the best MCs, lyricists, rappers to ever touch a microphone, right? The pure level of MCing that Black Thought can do, like Will.I.Am said, the freestyles, the old freestyles from what year was that, 95 or whatever it is, where Questlove is literally beatboxing and they're going around in circles and shit, and that nigga's rapping off the, and Black Thought is rapping off the top of his motherfucking head for 5-6 minutes or whatever it is, not repeating a rhyme. It sounds like raps that could have been written, but he's literally coming up with it off the top of his head. Yes, he is one of the best rappers ever. If you believe he is the best rapper ever, I'm not going to argue with you. Some people put Eminem in that category. There's other people that you can also put. Nas is in that category. Kool G Rap is in that category for some. You know what I'm saying? Rakim is in that category for some. Big Daddy Kane is in that category for some. Notorious B.I.G. for some people is their best rapper. Right? But for me, when I think of greatest, I think greatness tallies into like accomplishments, accolades, skill, impact, influence. It's like Michael Jordan, right? And you might put Michael Jordan in both categories to say he's both the best and the greatest, right? Because of all the MVPs he got. He won MVP and Defensive Player of the Year in the same season. 6 championships, never lost a championship, right? Never went to a Game 7 in a championship. These are like badges of honor that build greatness. Whereas me, my generation, I loved Jordan. He was my favorite player in the league. But based on the age in which I came up, I only really watched Jordan play for probably 4 or 5 years of my life of like real watching basketball, right? But then Kobe came and I was like, probably 9 years old, something like that. When he like developed into who he was going to be. And I watched him throughout his whole career. And I say, man, that's the best. But he don't overtake Jordan, right? Because of the greatness factor. Kobe does a lot of things like Jordan. Fade away. Hang time in the air. Championships. 5, not 6. But he'll never be greater than Jordan, right? Although some people may say technically he improved upon certain aspects of Jordan's game. So I don't feel like Black Thought and Jay-Z are in the same conversation, which is why I'm not really offended by what Black Thought is saying. To me, I mean, what Will.I.Am is saying. To me, it puts another microscope on the point I was making last week between greatest and best. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I view things. And I'm not saying that my viewpoint is right. I'm just sharing my viewpoint because this is my platform to do so. And y'all could tell me how y'all evaluate greatest versus best, right? Like if you put Black Thought and Jay-Z on a song today, which one day that may happen. Who's going to have the better verse? Probably Black Thought. When you break down the technical rapping, the amount of depth he's going to cover, the subject matter, the certain words in his vocabulary that's going to make you go look something up and be like, what does that word mean? And then it might take you back to something that happened during the Civil War And now you got to research the history of what happened in the Civil War that made that word come into existence. You know what I'm saying? Or he might say something from West African nomenclature, right? And be like, okay, what the hell does that mean? And you got to go look it up. And then it's like, oh shit, that line is way deeper than I thought. Right? That's what Black Thought brings. He's a more he comes from the more conscious rap stable. Right? But then on the other hand of the song, Jay-Z may come in, and although Black Thought may have the better verse, Jay-Z may come in and have the more memorable verse, right? Where certain things he's going to say are going to stick in your head, like the way he said it. The rhyme scheme of it's going to stay in your head. You know what I mean? Based on, like, naturally his voice is like one of the coolest voices we've had in hip hop. It's instantly recognizable. Like, you know when it's the real versus those imitations that I remember back in the early 2000s, there was like 8 different fake Jay-Z's, and we all said, that ain't it. So he has his own qualities that he's going to bring to a song. He might give you something that it's like, oh man, this, he's more personal. I won't say personal, but he'll give you like more, rather than like historical reference, he'll give you references to things that happen in his life or people in his crew that you may not necessarily know, who he's elevated, and he'll put it in a verse in a sly way. And then you'll have to go and be like, well, what the fuck? What did he mean by that? And next thing you know, oh, this is one of Jay-Z's childhood friends or somebody that he used to sell dope with that he's elevated to a position of power at Rock Nation or one of his companies, right? And you'll be like, damn, that was dope. I didn't even know that, right? But it ain't as deep as what Black Thought did when he taught you some shit from West Africa or back during the Civil War. Now, Jay-Z, he can get into that bag, but that's not like his primary lane. And I appreciate both of them equally, which is why I'm not trying to put one over the other, because I think they serve two very different purposes in hip hop. And I think that without both of them contributing what it is that they do, we wouldn't have as much color in hip hop that we do. Sometimes I wish the Black Thoughts of the world got more recognition, right? Which is where I think Will.I.Am is coming from. It's like, yo, why don't we magnify this level, this peak of rapping to the same degree that we would a Jay-Z? He mentioned Pharoah Monch, another one of my personal favorites, right? He might not be in my top 5 greatest rappers of all time, but if I were to put together a list of best rappers, he would probably be at minimum top 10. Because I know the body of work that Pharoah Monch brings to the game, the cadence he brings to the game, the vocabulary he brings to the game, the fact that he's asthmatic, but if you listen to his music, it sounds like he don't breathe. You know what I'm saying? So that's why sometimes I feel like these conversations are way more layered than the way they're presented. And I think that ultimately, we don't have to pit Black Thought versus Jay-Z in order for Black Thought to be amazing, right? So some people may have came here with a preconceived notion that I was just going to be like Jay-Z, Jay-Z, Jay-Z. But honestly, if you listen to my music, if you listen to my intros, if you've endeavored to say, well, I like the intros, let me go listen to more of J Nolan's music, there's variety. There's a song that you might hear that's like, okay, you could tell he listens to underground rap. There's another song you may listen to be like, okay, I could tell he listens to mainstream rap, southern rap, this rap. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a student of hip hop. Like, and I just think that I think at this time, I think we all need to broaden our horizons in hip hop conversation. Because yeah, we grew up liking one thing or what have you. And typically, as we age, we cling on to what it is that we love the most. But ultimately, if it's not whack, then let it be good. You know what I mean? Like there should be a line of what's whack. But putting these guys against each other, trillion times better than Jay-Z. Come on, cut the shit, man. Trillion times? You know how much it takes to make a trillion? Let's not do that. You know? So that's my take on it. I think both artists are supreme. I think both of them are lyrically leaps and bounds ahead of the competition in their own strengths. You know? I think for me, if I had to put a knock on either, if I had to, I would say that Jay-Z, his last album, 444, just judging him off his latest body of work, it was more personal. It gave you a little bit more depth. It gave you a little bit more, one-on-one time with him, but it lacked some of what made Jay-Z that big, the superstar that he became. He didn't have like the mega hits on that album. So some people look at 444 and be like, did you really care about that album? Did you really like that album? Because it didn't create those big hits that he was known for in the late 90s going throughout probably 2013-ish. That was his heyday of like hits. Black Thought, on the other hand, as he's gone on and done solo material, his Stream of Consciousness series, he doesn't do a lot of hooks. He'll just rap damn near a whole song for 5 minutes, just straight rap. And for some people, they can't digest that level of raptivity. You know what I'm saying? It's like, damn, can you break it up? Can you give me a catchy hook here? Can we get a switch up in the beat? You know what I'm saying? Not to say he doesn't make hooks, but it's more so a rarity in his solo catalog. So I think, like I said, in their strengths, but then when you break down maybe some of the areas that they don't focus as much on, you can see other artists that may do things better. So again, Will.I.Am, I think you tripping a little bit. Trillion is a lot. But at the same time, I respect what he's saying because Black Thought is a deserving MC. And there's a lot of people out there that will actually agree with him. And that's okay too. All right? Let me know what y'all think of this down below in the comments. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Become an insider. I will catch y'all on the next one. All right? Peace.
King of my city and cul-de-sac. Coming out swinging like soldier rag. Leading my people like quarterback. Boy, I study this shit, I'm an almanac. Had to get up and grind. Knowledge is booming, I'm here to apply. Came with the chip and the dip, it just single the mind. We finna do more than survive. I need my check. Spinning the block for the Gouda. We hitting the jeweler to flood out the net. We don't do beef for computers, I'm straight out the sewer. We come when you rest. Niggas be looking perplexed, so keeping my foot on their neck. No map, I trust my gut for the quest. With drama, I'm fully abreast. I was ready for years and they doubted me. All of a sudden they tell me they proud of me. I've been dropping these haters like calories. First I'm out, I came back with some boundaries. Stand for my honor, but too raw, no corner. Packing the stick with a drummer. Wanna catch my bad, won't fumble. I done came too far to be humble.